Hello, I'm Debbie. I'm a volunteer for Crafting for Good, and today we're going to be making the never ending card and the 4-fold flap card. Adele is going to be joining us, and if you have any questions, she'll be answering any questions you have while I do the demonstration. Just to wish Adele a very happy birthday. A very happy birthday. 9 years ago today she started this business, so happy birthday Adele, and congratulations on 9 years in this business. So we're going to be making an easel card. No, we're not at all. We're going to be making a never-ending card. And what we do with these, so they sit nice and flat and they sit together. They open up as the first fold as a gatefold. The second fold opens top to bottom. The third fold opens as a gatefold again, taking you to almost the end, and then finally top and bottom again, and you're back to your original starting position. So folds nice and easily, nice and flat. It comes with a matching envelope, which it fits inside lovely, and I've just put some double-sided on the top so you can stick it. So your gatefold card will fold open as a gatefold initially, top to bottom, gatefold again, little white panel on the inside for you to write on, and then finally top to bottom, and it comes back to the never-ending card. Now with these you can stand them up anyway, so I tend to stand mine like a H. So you have your line in the centre and you have your two folds, and it stands up prettily like that. So what you're going to need for this is you're going to go to the Printable card store, and you're going to purchase the never-ending card kit and the downloads, all of the items that you will need. So you have two topper sheets. So you have your first topper sheet, you have your second topper sheet, you have your two panels. You are going to need to print these twice because this is going to be the basis of our never-ending card. On the back of this you want to print the backing sheet, so absolutely gorgeous pattern that is. So print these twice. As you can see, I've done that there, and I've also printed on the back with the backing paper. And then you have the envelope. So you have the front and the back of the envelope. And what we would need to do is cut all of these out, and in true demonstrator fashion, here's one I've cut out earlier. Now I've cut all my sections out. So in your topper section you have your little squares, you have your side panels, you have your larger squares, you have your 4 never-ending card individual sheets, and you have your envelope front and back. Now we'll start with the envelope. What I've done is pop double-sided tape along the top, and that will allow you to stick the envelope closed. You have the flap at the bottom, so anywhere where you see the straight line you want to score. So you're going to score and fold, which will be the base of the envelope, and then on the back of the envelope you have the two side flaps, so you would need to score and fold. And all we're going to do is I'm going to start with this bottom flap, and I'm going to glue it to the bottom of the inside of the envelope. And all I'm going to do is just use a little bit of wet glue, and I'm just going to pop that all across the bottom. I tend to like the wet glue just because it gives me that little bit of wiggle time. So if I haven't got it quite lined up where I need it to be straight away, I have a couple of minutes to just move it around. All I'm going to do is press it down firmly, and then just check from the back that it is lined up where it needs to be lined up. Now this glue does take a couple of minutes to set completely, but it does grab straight away. I'm just going to check the side panels will fold over for me, and I've got no white showing anywhere on the back of this card. So that is lined up where I want it to be, and the glue is starting to set for me. So I'm just going to open that out. On the side panels I'm just going to put a little bit of glue each of the side panels, and then hold them flat while I just seal the envelope. So all I'm doing is closing the envelope, pressing down on either side. Now you can pop this together and hold it together with a little peg, or stand something on it, anything you want to, just to keep it closed. So nice firm press all the way along, and we're just going to leave that to dry for a few moments, and then our envelope is completely ready for the card once we've made the card. So we're just going to pop that aside to dry. We've already put the double-sided tape on the top of the envelope, as you can see, so that will then stick nice and firm, and when your card is finished you can pop your card inside the envelope. Just going to pop that aside to dry. Now for the never-ending card, you've printed 4 bases. Now you've double-sided printed, so you can see on the back of them all they have the matching background paper on the back. Now what you need to do is take your scoreboard, and again where the dark blue lines are, so if you can see the lines here and here, you're going to score on those. Now a little tip, what I've done on my scoreboard, I don't know if you can see, I've coloured in my lines. That way, when I put the card on there I want to score, I can actually see the top and the bottom of the line, and I don't have to wiggle it around too much to make sure I'm in the right place, because I can visually see. Now what I tend to do that you don't have to do, but I find this works easier, you're going to score down the centre of here as well. So if you measure how wide it is, and it is literally just over 7.5, so on my scoreboard all I'm going to do is move it in at 1/4 centimetre, and then I'm going to score down the 3.5 centimetre line, which will give me my half fold. I just find doing that helps it manoeuvre a little bit better. So we've now got our 4 pieces. Now how this works, we're actually going to glue the top right and left and bottom right and left 4 corners. So that's all we're going to pop our glue on there. It's up to you if you use glue, double-sided tape, whatever your personal preference is. Again, I just like the glue because it just gives me that little bit of wiggle time. And all I'm doing is putting the glue on and then making sure it goes to the edges. And my personal preference is wet glue, just because I find it gives me that little bit of extra time to get it in the right place. So I've glued the 4 corners. I'm just going to push this together so the sides touch and line it up top and bottom. Now we've got those 2 going upwards. The next 2 will come in sideways, and it will sit across corner to corner. So we'll line the first corner up, pop him down, pop the second one on, and exactly the same with the other one at the bottom. And all I'm now going to do is give it a nice little press, and then just make sure all my corners are lined up. Now this is such an amazing card because people look at it and think, how on earth does that work? And it amazes people how this works. And it's simply 4 pieces of card which you cut and scored to give you the basic shape. So just going to give them a nice firm press. Adele's popped the prices on the screen for the never-ending card, so you've got the link for that if you want to go to the store even. So all we're going to do, so by now putting my extra folds in the centre, it's just going to help move this card along. So your first fold again is your gatefold card, and all I'm doing is just opening the card at each fold and just rescoring. Just literally pressing down on all of my score lines. So the second one then opens upwards and at the bottom, and again I'm just going to reinforce my score lines. So as you can see now, by reinforcing the score lines, it makes it very manoeuvrable. If we start back to our original position, now I've got this facing towards me, so I've got it so the gatefold is my first fold. Now what we're going to do with the smaller side section we've cut out from the topper section, you have so many matching ones. So I have 2 of the flowers, I have 4 of the presents, I have some sideways on, sending warm wishes, and you really need to put my glasses on, and some baubles as well. And in the smaller squares I have the matching white flowers, and I have the matching present. So all I'm doing is I'm laying these out in front of me, ready for me to stick down. I've then also got my square white panel which I will use to write on, and then my decorative panels for top and bottom. So now I'm all ready to stick together. So for my first panels I'm just going to use the big ones, and I think I'm going to have the little girl in the sleigh. So a little bit of glue on this. You're always better to stick these flat because you don't want any height which will stop the mechanisms from working. So for this one, just nice and flat, so you can just stick everything down and then it will make it twist and turn a lot easier. So the centre panels are down, and all I'm doing to decorate is following the folds in the card. So those are the big centre panels, and I've got long panels there. So for my long panels I'm just going to pop my decorations on. Now I'm going for the ones with the words on, and I'm going to put them in the opposite top and bottom corners, and then I'm going to put the flowers in the other corners. Now the good thing of this, anything goes. You can put family photos on here, so if you want to make a memory never-ending card, you can then just pop little family photos on there with little journal tags and write on them. So for example, my daughter's graduation, I could put her graduated picture on there, and then little sentiments with dates, times, etc, etc, so I can have it like a memory card. So that's the first one done. So I'm going to open it out like a gatefold element, reinforcing my score lines as I go again, and then I'm going to put the next set of toppers on. So there is the next one. The good thing about this, they leave a nice border all the way around the outside, so you get to see a little bit of the backing paper. So I've decided I'm putting my reindeers on the second one. So that's our first fold, that's our second fold. So as you notice now, this folds down in half. So on this one, you want a small square top and bottom corner before it opens. So it's always good to fold it open as you go, so you know exactly what to put where. So what you don't want to do is glue everything down and then find you can't actually open the card. So always check your next fold before you stick anything down. So a little bit of glue on the 4 corners, and then I'm putting presents in opposite top, right and left, flowers in opposite top, left and right. Then that leaves me my second panels. I'm going to put the baubles down here. It's a lovely card as well. If somebody's had a baby and you want to do a little memory book, you can do exactly the same thing there with baby pictures. You can put the birth weight, date and time of birth, pictures of the new baby, the happy family, nanny and granddad, aunts and uncles. So it can be a lovely memory of anything that's going on at any one time. So now we've opened that, we're going to open it again and then do our next set. So we've got 2 small squares there, and we've got our long squares there. So I'm going to put the presents on these ones. Oops. almost glued. So we have baubles and then presents. And then we have our 4 little decorations. So our little squares are going to go there. I've just put a little bit too much glue on that. So what I'm going to do is use one of the other ones just to wipe off the excess glue. So I'm actually gluing 2 at the same time. So we're going to put a little square up there and the opposite one in the bottom right. And then with the flowers, we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to do opposite corners, top and bottom. So flowers at the top and again at the bottom. So make sure everything is stuck down, and then we open, oops, daisy, to the final fold. So I'm going to stick my large square at the top. And then my little white panel to write on. Now with the little white panel, it's just got decorative flowers in the top and the bottom corners. So it just gives you a nice border all the way around the outside, and then your little flowers that match. And I'm just going to put the last 4 side panels on. So as you can see, once you've done the mechanism, I have children playing in the snow outside, my neighbour, so ignore the screaming. I think they're having a snowball fight. So if you've got snow around where you, please take it careful. Don't go out unless you need to, and if you do go out, please stay safe. It is quite treacherous out there. I live in Birmingham, and at the moment where I am, we've got about 4 inches of snow and plenty more still coming down, and it's very, very, very cold. So if you are going out, please be safe. If you're not going out, please join me in craft. This is our finished never-ending card. So we're just going to make sure everything is pressed down. Now with my glue, it normally takes a couple of minutes to dry. Haven't given it that. I've been a bit lazy and did it straight away. So what we have is our finished never-ending card. So we have our decorative panels with our writing top and bottom. So we open the first fold as a gatefold card. The second one we open top and bottom. The third one we open as a gatefold card, which then leads us to our back panel, which is where we can write, and then back to our first panel. So here you now have your gatefold card, or a memory book, or a memory card if you choose to pop little pictures in, or anything else that you fancy. The envelope we made earlier, all we need to do for that is open it out and pop our finished never-ending card into the envelope, and then it's ready to be sent to the lucky person who gets this. So that is our never-ending card. So I'm going to put those out of the way, because what we're going to do next is our 4-fold flap card. Very hard to say. So this one is 4 easel cards on a base. So if I slowly rotate, you can then see the different easel cards on the base. The good thing about this, they all fold down. So if you're looking at posting, other than the decoupage layers on there, it is virtually flat. The base is matching background paper on there as well, which is gorgeous, and I've glittered all the front, which I don't know if you can see my glittering. So any glitter on there. I'm a big fan of glitter and bling and ribbons. If you can add glitter, add bling, add ribbons, anything you fancy, any little gems, they always look absolutely stunning. With this as well, what you can do is shape the leaves. So in your decoupage section, just slowly lift up and curl the edges of the decoupage section on your flowers, and you've got more of a 3D flower. Now this isn't hard to make, it's just a little bit complex because there's a lot of different elements in this. So you can see how much I've lifted the decoupage. So once you've got the basis of this, you can whiz straight through it. So this is the Poinsettia 4-fold flap card, and it stands like 4 easel cards on a base. Again, this comes with a matching envelope, which is made exactly the same way as we've just made the never ending card envelope. Again, I've popped double-sided tape on the top, ready to seal the finished item. So what you're going to need to download for this, so if you go on to Crafting4Good and the printable card shop, you can get the never ending card and also the 4-fold Poinsettia card. What you need to download once you've got that is the toppers page, the back panel and little toppers there. Now these are your easel cards, again with extra toppers on there. Again, large fold, medium one, extra toppers. Base card, again with the small easel card and then the other topper there. And finally we have our front envelope and back envelope. So once you download all of those, you want to cut them all out. And guess what? Here's some I cut out earlier. So this is the envelope part of it, and that will seal exactly the same way as we've just done the never ending card one. So I've double-sided taped the top flap of the envelope, and I'm just going to pop some glue on the bottom flap of the back of the envelope, ready to stick it down. So I'm just going to line that up. Now it's personal preference whether you use double-sided tape, whether you use wet glue, whether you use tape runners, whatever you prefer. If it works, then it's right. If it doesn't work, you've learned something new and you can do something different next time. It's never a wrong in crafting, it's always a happy accident. So we've sealed that together, so I've just sealed the back flap of the bottom onto the bottom of the front of the envelope. I'm just going to fold in the side panels, pop a little bit of glue, either one of those, exactly the same as we did before. I'm just going to hold them shut with my fingers as I close the envelope. Again, you can stand something on this just so the glue dries. If you're using double-sided tape, it's immediate grab so that there's no delay. If you're using double-sided tape, it's done immediately. Just checking everything lines up corner to corner. Press it down nice and firm. Then, once that's dried, you then have your envelope ready for your never-ending card. So we're going to pop that aside to dry. Now you're going to have a lot of pieces for this. So you're better off, once you cut them all out, pop them into little sections. So I've already made up my decoupage elements. So these are the pieces I've cut out, and I've made up the decoupage elements, and I've also pre-glittered them. So I'm just going to pop those to one side, ready to go. You also get some sentiments with this. You have Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Season's Greetings. You also have a blank one that you can stamp yourself. So I'm going to put those to one side, and I'm going to just lay out all of my little square toppers. So we have the little square toppers. We then have the long toppers. So exactly what I did before for the easel card, I'm just lining it all up so I can see at a glance what I've got and where. I just find this works easier for me, so I can see then what I've got. There's no right or wrong with this. If this works for you, brilliant. If it doesn't, do something different. So those are the small panels lined up, and I've now got the larger panels to line up. I'm just going to move that out of the way. So these are my larger squares that I've cut out that we're just going to line up. Now you'll see with some of them you've got the matching decoupage, which will then sit on top, which we'll do shortly. You've then got your little easel elements that we've cut out. So you have the little flap on the end, it folds in the centre, that will stick, the little flap will sit underneath your card. So that will then sit like the easel card. So on the dark red lines you need to score, and then burnish your score lines, and you do that with the 4 sections that are going to make your easel card. So I've pre-scored them ready. Again, 2 of the long ones, 1 of the short ones, and 1 of the large square ones. Again, burnish all your folds, and then you have your base panel and you have your back panel. Now it's just entirely up to you whether you want that be to the back and that be the front, or vice versa. I'm going to use that as a front just because I think it's pretty, and I'm going to use that as the back. So that will set to one side for now, and what I'm going to do is stick the flaps on the easel sections underneath the flowers, underneath, sorry, the back of the card. So again, tape runner, double-sided tape, wet glue, anything that works for this. So you just need to decide which ones you want where. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of wet glue on the bottom of here and just stick the first flap down. So what I'm actually doing is just folding the flap underneath and folding the top part over the top. Now, because I've stuck the flap on that side, the next one I want to stick is on the top, the next on the side, and the next on the bottom. That way they all fold out in 4 different directions. I'm just going to open that out and press that. So we have our smaller one to do and our 2 larger ones. So what you're going to do is decide where you want them. So you can have that one there, you can have it there, whichever way you fancy, or you can have in that side. I think I'll actually have this one underneath at the bottom. So a little bit of glue on the bottom flap, and what I'm going to do is lift it up and just slide it under and press it down. Now, because I've done one on this corner, I've done one on this corner, I now need to do one on this corner. So what I'm going to do there, again, is just pop a little bit of glue on the white section and pop him under this corner. Make sure he all lines up and then press him nice and firm so he sticks. And then finally, the little one that I've got left is going to go on the top corner. Slide him under, line him up, make sure he folds down flat and press. So we've now basically got the card itself done. So this is our 4-fold easel card in place. What I'm going to do is just fold those flat though. So tuck them all together, fold them flat, and as you can see they sit perfectly. I'm going to turn that over, and what I'm going to do is the back of it I'm going to cover with the square panel. So what that does, it actually hides all of your working, so you're not going to see the join where you've joined the flaps to the card. Plenty of glue on there. And we're going to just manoeuvre this into place to cover all of the elements. I'm just going to pick this up so I can make sure I'm corner to corner and there's nothing sticking out either side, so it all lines up perfectly. What this will do will actually make sure all the flaps then stick, because they're sandwiched between the base plate and the bottom, so they will then stick nice and firm and it won't go anywhere. So what we're now going to do is in the centre, I actually want a nice little sentiment. So I've put a foam pad on the back and I'm just going to put Merry Christmas in the centre. That will then also act as a stopper for my easel card. If I can lift up my sections. So they will all then stand together. Now what we're going to do, if I pick one at a time, so if I have this facing me again, I'm going to open that out. Now, as you'll see with your big one, you have a matching picture there, but it doesn't have the border on. So what that does, that actually sits on top of there. There we go, right way around. So that will sit on top of there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use foam pads and I'm just going to layer that on top of the large square easel. Just going to take the backs off my foam pads. And I'm just going to layer that up over the top. Now what we have for this one, we have a large flower to decoupage up. So I'm just going to just going to use my fingers and I'm going to curl the edges of the leaves up a little bit. I've already popped a foam pad on the back, so I'm just going to match this up, find the matching side. There we go, and that one is then done. You also have a picture on the back which we can then use and put a picture again, chops the border off and it gives us the picture. So I'm actually going to twist this one because of standing it up. I just want it facing different direction. So when that stands up, you've then got the bird facing the right way. So you have the flower on the first one and you have the little bird and the flower on the second one. So that's the large flap done. So if we go on to the side flap, again we've got a little bird. If I find the matching decoupage, you have the little bird there, which I'm going to again pop foam pads on just to raise him up. Again, it doesn't have the border on because it's just going to mat and lay it in the centre. So a couple of foam pads on here, pop him on the top, and again we have decoupage element for this, so we have the bird and the flower, which again I've added glitter to bring it up. Very easy to stick together. I've just popped a few little foam pads on the back already. What I tend to do is just buy large foam pads and then cut into them and cut them to size. So I'm just going to line him all up and make sure he's over where I need him to be, and he is then done. So that is my little bird lined up with the flowers on. So the back panel, again you've got the pretty flower on the back. If I just make sure, so that one is for that one, and then you have the matching white flower on the back. So what I'm going to do is just layer up that one. Just gives me a little bit of height. Now the inside ones don't have the decoupage element to them, otherwise they won't sit flat when you close the card. So again, I must remember, when that stands up, it faces the opposite direction. So I've just popped the topper on there. So I'm now going to turn the card again and go to the third easel flap. And again, if I work on the bottom one, so that is going to match that picture there. So again, I'm just going to pop my foam pads on the back, and I'm just going to raise that up. Again, this has a decoupage element of it being the front of the easel. So I'm going to pop that on there, and I'm going to get the decoupage element, and I'm going to layer that on top. There we go. And again, lift the little flowers up. We have the reverse of that as well, and we can pop another picture on the back of that should we want to, or we can leave it. It's entirely your choice. You don't have to put another picture over the top. Okay, our fourth one, what we're going to have there is we have our decoupage flower, and again we have the little topper that matches the picture perfectly. So another foam pad on the back. Match the image up, stick it down, again foam pad on the back of the flower that we've decoupaged and cut, so make sure it lines up and we're ready to go. What I'm going to do on the other one is pop a foam pad on the back, and the way that stands up, I'm just going to put a little topper on the back of there. Now I have some spare toppers, so what I'm going to do, I can either keep them and use them for another card, or I can actually decorate even the large section. So go back to the large one again, remembering how it folds up and how it's going to look. So I'm going to want that one on the inside there, and I can leave the top part clear to write on. Again, I'm just twisting again, so I have the element there. So because I want a matching bird on there, I'm just going to pop that one on there. These can just be saved for another project, or you can use them as I am just a decoupage up. That's so pretty, I actually want to pop another one on there. So what I'm going to do is then pop matching flower one on this one. Give them a nice press down. So turn them again, and I'm going to put another one on the inside of here. And this is purely optional, you don't need to do this, all these can be saved for another project should you choose to. And then the final one I'm going to put on the back of this one. I'm just going to move my glue out of the way. Now we have a couple of sentiments left, so if you wanted to, you could pop little foam pads. Now if you notice with my foam pads, I've actually cut into them, so it looks a bit like a feather at the moment, just so I can have smaller foam pads. Saves me buying loads of different sizes, one size will then fit all. So on this one, on Happy Holidays, you can pop that on the base of there if you want to, you can pop that on the base of there, anywhere you want to, you can pop it on the inside. So I can pop it on there, so when you open up that, you have a little sentiment on there. And alternatively, on the back. Now if you do stick on the back, I suggest you stick it flat and you don't pop a foam pad on there because you don't want it to rise. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it on the other side of my little bird. So making sure all your creases are nice and firm are in place. And again, the folds as you fold your card onto the base. You then have your 4-fold flap card with your matching 4 easels. Absolutely beautiful project, very unusual as well. So if you send one of these cards, the lucky person who will receive it will know so much love and work has gone into this. So we have the 4-fold flap card, which gives you 4 easel cards, which are decoupaged up, which will fold virtually flat depending on your decoupage for posting. And we have the matching envelope we made earlier. Now templates are available for these if you want to put your own patterns in, and Adele is online at the moment watching, so she can answer any questions that you may have about these. Now because I've used wet glue, I just need to make sure everything is completely dry, and I'm just being very careful when I put this together because I've decoupaged everything. But as you can see, it goes into the card. Oops, watching my decoupage. That is then double-sided taped at the top, ready to seal, ready to be given as a gift. So to summarise, we've done 2 cards this afternoon with matching envelopes. We have our 4-fold easel card, 4 flap fold easel card, very hard to say, and we have our never-ending card, which again, first fold opens like a gatefold, then top to bottom, like a gatefold, and then top to bottom with your writing panel to write on. I tend to stand them up on the side with the gatefold slightly open, entirely up to you. You can make a little card holder and display it on a card holder. It's personal preference, but again, both of these are so unusual and so unique. They both come with matching envelopes. What we're going to be doing on Thursday, so we have another live on Thursday, 7 o'clock on Thursday evening, where we're going to be doing quick cards. So if you've still got a few cards left to do, we're going to be doing a selection of quick cards, and we're also going to be doing a Christmas cracker from the Christmas Taster bundle, which has different things in there, but I've opted to do the cracker element of that, which is a lovely idea. So you can then make crackers for each of your family and friends, and you can put something in there that is unique to those. Also on the Taster bundle for the cracker, you've also got the section for the jokes as well that you can print off. I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. My name is Debbie, I'm a crafter and I'm a volunteer for Crafting for Good, and once again, happy 9th birthday Adele. Thank you for watching. I'll see you Thursday. Bye bye.